The warning. In the vastness of the galaxy, the Galactic Council stood as the ultimate authority. Its members, representing dozens of star systems, gathered in a grand chamber of light and crystal. For centuries, they had ruled with wisdom and power, keeping order across the stars. Yet on this day, something unexpected shattered their calm. The meeting was interrupted by a sharp, static-filled signal. At first, it seemed like a technical glitch, but the signal grew louder, stronger. A voice, ancient and unfamiliar, echoed through the chamber. It spoke in a long-forgotten Earth language. The words were translated into the universal tongue, and the message was simple. Do not wake them. Earth is not as it seems. A silence fell over the council. Earth was a forbidden planet, abandoned by its people centuries ago. The humans who had once thrived there were said to have vanished mysteriously, leaving the planet lifeless and forgotten. The Galactic Council had declared Earth off-limits long ago, warning of its dangers. But now this signal brought the planet back into the spotlight. Ambassador Kira, one of the youngest members of the Council, leaned forward. Her sharp blue eyes glinted with curiosity. If Earth is abandoned, who sent this message? And what does it mean by wake them? Most of the Council dismissed the message as an old automated system still running on Earth. It's probably a leftover signal from their ancient machines, said High Chancellor Varric, an elder with decades of experience. Nothing more than the ghosts of a dead world. But Kira wasn't convinced. She had always been fascinated by Earth and its mysteries. The humans were known for their ingenuity and resilience, yet their sudden disappearance left a void in the galaxy's history. What could they have left behind that warranted such a warning? I suggest we investigate, Kira said firmly. Ignoring this could be dangerous. What if Earth's systems are more advanced than we think? What if there's something still alive down there? The room erupted into debate. Some council members supported Kira's call for action, intrigued by the signal. Others argued it wasn't worth the risk. Earth had been silent for centuries. Why stir the ashes now? In the end, curiosity won. A small reconnaissance team was approved to investigate the source of the signal. They would travel to Earth's moon, where the signal originated. The Council agreed that if anything unusual was found, they would reassess their approach. Kira volunteered to lead the mission, but her request was denied. Instead, a seasoned team of explorers and scientists was chosen. As the team prepared for their journey, the Galactic Council resumed its usual business. Many believed the mission would find nothing but dust and forgotten machines, but Kira couldn't shake the feeling that something was waiting for them, something far older and more dangerous than anyone could imagine. The journey to Earth's moon was uneventful. The reconnaissance ship, sleek and equipped with the latest technology, glided silently through space. The team aboard was confident. They had faced countless challenges in their careers. What harm could an abandoned planet pose? As the ship entered the moon's orbit, they detected the source of the signal. It was coming from an ancient base, buried beneath the lunar surface. The base appeared dormant, its once bright lights now dimmed by centuries of neglect. The team landed near the base's entrance, their steps crunching on the moon's dusty surface. Inside the base, the air was cold and still. The walls were covered in symbols and designs unfamiliar to the explorers. One of the scientists activated a console, and suddenly the base came to life. Lights flickered on, and screens glowed with data. The signal grew louder, more insistent. Then a voice boomed through the base. It was deep, mechanical, and filled with warning. Unauthorized access detected. Protocol 1. Initiate fleet safeguard. The team froze. Fleet safeguard. What fleet? They hurried to shut down the system, but it was too late. Deep within the Earth, systems long dormant began to awaken. Massive machines stirred, their engines roaring to life. Ships buried beneath mountains, and oceans broke free, rising into the atmosphere like sleeping giants. Back on the moon, the reconnaissance team realized their mistake. They tried to send a message to the Galactic Council, but interference blocked their signal. Panic set in as they watched Earth's ancient fleet rise, their metallic forms glowing with energy. One of the team members finally managed to send a fragmented warning back to the Council. "We've made a mistake. Something. Alive. Waking. Fleet." The message cut off, leaving the Council in chaos. Kira, listening from the chamber, felt a chill run down her spine. Earth's silence had been broken, and whatever was stirring below was far more powerful than anyone had anticipated. As Earth's fleet took to the skies, a final automated message played across the galaxy, echoing in every corner. "You should not have come." The awakening. The Galactic Council chamber was a storm of voices, fear, and confusion. The fragmented warning from the reconnaissance team had shaken them. "We've made a mistake. Something. Alive. Waking. Fleet." These words played on a loop, amplifying the dread. Kira stood in the center of the chaos, her mind racing. The word fleet echoed in her thoughts. For centuries, the galaxy had dismissed Earth as a relic of the past, a silent world with no one left to fight for it. But now, Earth's silence had turned into a roar. What kind of fleet had been hidden there all this time? And why? Before anyone could piece together answers, an emergency broadcast interrupted the debate. A live feed from Earth's orbit filled the chamber's central display. The view showed colossal ships emerging from beneath Earth's surface, towering machines of war, their hulls gleaming like freshly forged steel. Energy shields crackled around them, and their weapons glowed with untested power. The fleet didn't look ancient, it looked alive. On the moon, the reconnaissance team scrambled to escape the base. Their ship's engines roared to life, but the base itself had other plans. A voice, mechanical yet disturbingly human, echoed through the corridors. "Fleet protocol. Activated. Hostile presence detected." Doors slammed shut behind them. Lights turned red, and the ground vibrated as ancient systems awakened. The team realized they were not dealing with simple machines. This was a sentient system, intelligent and ruthless. A pilot frantically shouted, "We need to leave. Now." One scientist hesitated, staring at a terminal displaying streams of data. This isn't just a defense system. It's learning, adapting. Their hesitation cost them. A surge of electricity rippled through the base, disabling their ship's controls. They were trapped, surrounded by a force far beyond their understanding. In the Galactic Council chamber, the High Chancellor barked orders. "Scramble our fleets. We must neutralize this threat before it spreads." Kira interjected. "Neutralize? Look at those ships. Our fleets won't stand a chance. This isn't an enemy we can outgun. We need to understand it first." "Understand it?" Varric scoffed. "You mean wait for it to destroy us?" Before Kira could respond, another transmission cut through their argument. This time, it wasn't from the reconnaissance team. It was from Earth. The voice was unmistakably human, but it carried an authority that chilled everyone in the room. "You were warned. You did not listen. The fleet is awake, and its purpose remains." Kira whispered, almost to herself, "Purpose? What purpose?" The voice continued, addressing the entire council as if it knew who they were. "The fleet was built to protect, to defend against threats no single world could face. You have trespassed, and now you will be tested." Above Earth, the ancient fleet began to move. It wasn't random chaos. It was precision, strategy. The ships formed a phalanx, a protective formation that seemed both defensive and ready to strike. Then, one by one, they turned toward the galactic reconnaissance ship still orbiting the moon. The fleet's weapons activated, beams of concentrated energy slicing through space. The ship didn't stand a chance. In moments, it was reduced to debris, its final moments broadcast across the galaxy. The Council watched in stunned silence. The message was clear. Earth's fleet wasn't just protecting itself, it was sending a warning to the galaxy. Kira, refusing to let fear cloud her judgment, addressed the Council. This fleet wasn't built to destroy at random. It's following a protocol, one we don't understand. If we attack blindly, we'll only make things worse. The High Chancellor was unmoved. And what do you suggest, Ambassador? That we sit and wait for them to decide our fate? No, Kira said firmly. I suggest we find out why they're waking up now. The fleet spoke of protection. Protection against what? What threat was so great that humans built this armada and then vanished? Her word hung in the air. The council was torn. Some wanted immediate action, a preemptive strike before the fleet expanded its reach. Others, led by Kira, argued for caution and investigation. Finally, the High Chancellor relented. We will send a second team, this time equipped with our most advanced technology. They will attempt to communicate with the fleet and uncover its intentions. But if the fleet shows any signs of aggression, we will not hesitate to destroy it. Kira knew the chances of survival were slim, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the fleet was more than just a weapon. It was a message, a legacy left behind by humanity for a reason. What that reason was, she intended to find out. Back on Earth, the awakening continued. Deep beneath the oceans, more ships broke free from their hidden docks. In the skies, satellites long thought dead flickered back to life. The entire planet seemed to be gearing up for something far bigger than the Galactic Council could imagine. And in the shadows of the moon base, the reconnaissance team stumbled upon a final revelation. One of the scientists, still analyzing the base's systems, gasped. This isn't just a fleet. It's connected. The ships, the base, the entire planet. It's one system. And it's watching us. The voice returned, colder and more direct this time. You have awakened the first phase. The test begins now. The first encounter. The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber was eerily quiet. For the first time in centuries, no one dared to speak. The last words from Earth's fleet still echoed in their minds. The test begins now. On the chamber's central display, the live feed showed Earth's ships aligning into precise battle formations. Their design was unlike anything in the galaxy, sleek, massive, and pulsating with energy. The weapons seemed alive, their glow intensifying as they prepared to strike. Suddenly, a smaller screen flickered to life. It was the second reconnaissance team, broadcasting from their high-orbited vantage point above Earth. Their voices were tense but controlled. This isn't a fleet, one of the scientists whispered. It's an ecosystem. Every ship is connected to the others. They share energy, data, even purpose. If we attack one, we attack them all. The Council argued furiously over their next move. High Chancellor Varric pushed for an immediate strike, but Ambassador Kira pleaded for caution. We can't assume this is a conventional threat, she said. These ships are acting with purpose. They've spoken of a test. Maybe that's what this is. An opportunity to prove ourselves. Varric laughed bitterly. Prove ourselves. To machines. Machines built by a species that abandoned its own world. They didn't abandon it, Kira shot back. They prepared it. For something we don't understand yet. Before another word could be said, the fleet above Earth moved. One of the largest ships, towering over the others, began to broadcast a signal directly to the Council's chamber. Its voice was deep and commanding, its tone calm but firm. Your presence here is not approved. You must prove your worth or face annihilation. In orbit, the second reconnaissance team's ship suddenly lost power. Lights dimmed, controls froze, and the crew panicked. Then, with a shudder, the ship was pulled toward one of the massive Earth vessels. A docking mechanism latched onto it, and the teen's ship was dragged inside the giant. The Council watched the feed in horror. We've lost them, someone whispered, but the feed wasn't gone. Inside the Earth vessel, the team found themselves in an impossibly large chamber filled with a strange golden light. Walls of liquid metal shimmered, forming shapes that seemed almost alive. One shape morphed into a humanoid figure, tall, featureless, and glowing. The figure spoke in a voice that resonated through the chamber. You will not be harmed if you cooperate. You are the first to witness the Sentinel. The Sentinel was more than an eye. It was a hybrid of human ingenuity and consciousness, fused into the heart of Earth's fleet. It explained its purpose in cryptic terms: to defend, to evaluate, to ensure survival. "What are you testing us for?" the team's captain demanded. The Sentinel's response was chilling. "To determine if your galaxy is ready for what is coming." The captain pressed for answers, but the Sentinel said no more. Instead, it offered a challenge. A holographic map appeared in the chamber, displaying 3 nearby systems. "Choose one," the Sentinel said. "Your decision will determine your fate." Back in the council chamber, Kira was racing to decode the situation. The Sentinel's words suggested something far larger than the fleet itself, a greater threat, perhaps, or a long-forgotten enemy. The council needed answers, and fast. But before they could deliberate further, one of their own fleets, a group of warships sent to contain Earth, arrived in orbit. Without waiting for orders, the fleet's admiral launched an attack. Hundreds of missiles streaked toward Earth's ships. The response was immediate. The Earth fleet's shields absorbed the missiles effortlessly. Then, with a precision that stunned the galaxy, they retaliated. Beams of pure energy swept through space, disabling the attacking fleet's weapon systems in seconds. Not a single galactic ship was destroyed, but they were left utterly powerless. The Sentinel's voice echoed across all channels. "This is your first failure. Aggression is not the answer." On Earth, the fleet's awakening continued. More ships emerged from hidden hangars, rising into the atmosphere like a swarm of mechanical titans. Satellites once thought dormant turned their lenses outward, scanning the galaxy with alarming precision. In the shadows of the moon base, remnants of the first reconnaissance team discovered something extraordinary: a massive archive of human knowledge. One scientist accessed the database, uncovering recordings from centuries ago. The message was clear. To those who find this, humanity is gone, but our legacy remains. The fleet is not just for Earth. It is for all who meet it, but it will only serve those who prove they are worthy. As the Council struggled to interpret the events, the Sentinel made a final announcement for the day. "You have 48 hours to show your unity. Failure to do so will result in your eradication. This galaxy cannot afford weakness." Kira stood silently as the chamber erupted in panic. The Sentinel's challenge wasn't just about Earth. It was a judgment on the Galactic Council, on their ability to lead and protect the galaxy. Time was running out, and the stakes had never been higher. The Sentinel's challenge. The Galactic Council chamber was no longer a place of order. Panic rippled through its members, the Sentinel's ultimatum haunting their every thought. "You have 48 hours to show your unity. Failure to do so will result in your eradication." Ambassador Kira stood in the chaos, her mind racing. The Sentinel wasn't just testing them. It was forcing the galaxy's most powerful leaders to face their failures. For centuries, the Galactic Council had governed through alliances built on fragile trust. Now, that fragile unity would decide their survival. On board the Earth fleet, inside the colossal Earth vessel, the reconnaissance team faced the Sentinel. Its humanoid projection loomed over them, a mixture of light and energy. "Your galaxy is fractured," the Sentinel began. "You wage wars over resources, betray allies, and ignore the suffering of the weak. Such weakness will not survive the coming storm." The team's captain stepped forward. "What storm? What is coming?" The Sentinel paused, its glowing form flickering. "A force beyond your comprehension. The threat that once nearly ended humanity. We built this fleet to stop it. If you cannot unify, you will fail as we did." The Sentinel's words revealed a painful truth. Humanity hadn't vanished without a reason. They had fought something so overwhelming that even their mightiest creations weren't enough. The fleet was their last hope, a weapon left for others to wield, but only if they proved worthy. Back at the Council, the countdown loomed over the Galactic Council like a sword. The Sentinel had presented them with a choice: unite or perish. But unity was easier said than done. Ancient grudges, unresolved disputes, and competing interests flared up as old wounds reopened. High Chancellor Varric slammed his fist on the table. This is absurd. We cannot let a machine dictate our actions. We should attack the fleet and destroy it. Kira, standing at the edge of the room, shook her head. And what happens when we fail? That fleet just disabled one of our strongest armadas without firing a single shot. We need to think beyond brute force. Then what do you suggest? Varric sneered. That we hold hands and sing songs of peace. Kira stepped forward. I suggest we stop pretending we have a choice. The Sentinel is right about one thing. Our galaxy is fractured. If we don't work together, we'll lose more than just this battle. We'll lose everything. Her words silenced the room, but the tension remained. Could centuries of distrust be erased in 2 days? The challenge unfolds. The Sentinel didn't wait for the Council to deliberate. It initiated the first phase of its test. A holographic map of the galaxy appeared in every Council member's chamber. 3 systems were marked in red. Choose one, the Sentinel announced. Your decision will determine the survival of its inhabitants. The Council stared at the map in disbelief. Each marked system was home to billions of lives. Choosing one would mean abandoning the other 2. It was an impossible decision, but the Sentinel's voice was unyielding. Unity is forged through sacrifice. Show me your resolve. Kira's gamble. Kira knew the Sentinel wasn't just testing their ability to make decisions, it was testing their capacity to work together. She gathered a small group of Council members who were willing to listen, including representatives from rival systems. We have to think this through, Kira urged. The Sentinel is watching not just what we decide, but how we decide. If we act selfishly, we fail. The group debated furiously, weighing the needs of each system. Finally, Kira proposed a daring idea. What if we don't choose? Not choose. One representative exclaimed. That's suicide. No, Kira countered. It's a message. If we refuse to abandon any of these systems, we show the Sentinel that we value every life in this galaxy equally. That's unity. The idea was risky, but it gained traction. If they were going to pass the Sentinel's test, they needed to prove they could act as one. The Sentinel's response. As the deadline approached, the Council broadcasted their decision to the Sentinel. Kira spoke on their behalf. We refuse to choose between these systems. Unity means standing together, not sacrificing the weak for the strong. If this means failing your test, so be it. But we will not abandon our people. The Sentinel's response was immediate. Its voice echoed across the galaxy. A bold move, but is it wisdom or arrogance? Suddenly, the marked systems became battlegrounds. Massive alien drones emerged from hyperspace, targeting key planetary defenses. The Council's fleets scrambled to respond, coordinating for the first time in decades. On the battlefield, something extraordinary happened. Ships from rival systems worked side by side, combining their strengths to repel the drones. Captains who once fought against each other now shared strategies and resources. For the first time, the galaxy acted as one. A glimpse of the future. As the last drone was destroyed, the Sentinel's voice returned. This time, it carried a hint of approval. You have passed the first phase, but the test is far from over. Unity must be more than temporary. It must endure. The Sentinel revealed a new challenge, a star system on the edge of the galaxy, where an ancient enemy stirred. The Council would need to deploy their newly united forces to confront this threat. Kira watched as the Council began to truly work together. For the first time, she felt hope, not just for passing the Sentinel's test, but for the galaxy's future. But deep in her heart, she knew the hardest part was yet to come. Secrets of the past. The Galactic Council's fleets were en route to the distant system the Sentinel had marked as the next test. The once chaotic Council chamber now operated with an uneasy sense of unity. For the first time in centuries, rival systems coordinated their efforts, pooling their resources and knowledge. But Ambassador Kira wasn't celebrating. She had spent the last hours buried in the archives, combing through every fragment of data about Earth's history. There was something the Sentinel wasn't telling them, something critical. She was certain the key to passing the test lay in understanding why the fleet was built and what humanity had faced. The Forgotten Legacy. On board the Sentinel's lead ship, the reconnaissance team was granted limited access to Earth's archives. They were shown glimpses of humanity's final days, moments before their disappearance. The images were haunting. Colossal, dark shapes moving through space, devouring entire star systems. These were not ships but entities, living, intelligent, and relentless. Humanity had called them the Harbingers. The Harbingers were a cosmic plague, consuming everything in their path. Planets, stars, even energy fields were not spared. Humanity's fleet wasn't just a weapon, it was a shield. The Sentinel revealed the fleet had been designed to counter the Harbingers' unique energy signatures, trapping them in a pocket dimension far beyond the galaxy. Humanity succeeded in containing the Harbingers, the Sentinel explained, but not without cost. Our creators sacrificed themselves to ensure the seal would hold. We were left behind to safeguard the galaxy, to ensure no mistake would awaken them again. The team's captain asked the question burning in everyone's mind. Then why are you testing us? What's changed? The Sentinel hesitated before answering. The seal is breaking. The breaking seal. Kira's research confirmed the Sentinel's revelation. Ancient star charts showed subtle but undeniable changes in the fabric of space near the Harbinger's prison. Energy readings spiked, and faint signals emanated from the region, signals that matched Earth's forgotten archives. But there was a twist. Humanity's records hinted at sabotage. Before the seal was completed, factions within humanity had opposed the fleet's creation, fearing its power. Some had worked in secret to weaken the containment, hoping to use the Harbingers as weapons against rival civilizations. Kira stared at the data in disbelief. Could those saboteurs have succeeded in planting the seeds of destruction? And if so, was the Sentinel testing them to see if they could correct humanity's ancient mistake? The second test begins. As the fleets approached the marked system, they encountered a graveyard of ships, an ancient battlefield littered with wreckage from countless species. This was a warning, a reminder of what was at stake. The Sentinel's voice returned, addressing the combined fleet. You face your second challenge. Anomaly Zeta 9 lies ahead. It is a fragment of the Harbinger's prison. Prove you have the resolve to confront it. When the fleet entered the system, they found the anomaly, a swirling, dark vortex emitting pulses of chaotic energy. It was alive, writhing, and spreading like a wound in space. From the vortex emerged drones unlike any seen before. These were not Sentinel creations. They were Harbinger constructs, twisted amalgamations of organic and mechanical forms, driven by an insatiable hunger. The battle for Zeta 9. The Galactic Council's fleets engaged the Harbinger constructs. The battle was unlike anything they had faced. The constructs adapted rapidly, learning from every attack. Traditional weapons were ineffective, forcing the fleet to rely on the Sentinel's guidance. Kira watched from the command center as the Sentinel provided real-time strategies. It taught them to synchronize their attacks, combining energy fields to disrupt the construct's regenerative abilities. The battle raged for hours, and the cost was steep. Entire squadrons were lost, but the anomaly was contained. For now. A grim revelation. As the fleets regrouped, the Sentinel delivered another message. You have succeeded in containing the fragment, but this was only the beginning. The Harbinger's prison weakens. Your galaxy has only two options: unify or perish. Kira, still haunted by the ancient sabotage, realized the galaxy was standing at the same crossroads humanity once faced. Could they unite and face the Harbingers, or would they fall into the same cycle of division and failure? But then, the Sentinel revealed something unexpected. A hidden archive unlocked, showing a name: Project Starforge. It was humanity's contingency plan, a blueprint for a weapon powerful enough to permanently destroy the Harbingers. The catch: the project had never been completed. The Sentinel claimed the plans could be finished, but it would require the combined resources of the entire galaxy. The next step. The Council debated furiously. Completing Project Starforge meant diverting resources from their defenses, leaving systems vulnerable. Some argued it was too risky. Others saw it as their only chance. Kira stood before them, her voice steady but urgent. This isn't just about survival. It's about proving we deserve to survive. The Sentinel is watching, and so are the Harbingers. If we can't work together now, we'll never stand a chance when the real battle begins. The Council reluctantly agreed. They would begin work on Project Starforge, but the decision came with a heavy price. The galaxy's divisions, though temporarily bridged, began to resurface. Trust was fragile, and time was running out. As the fleets prepared for the next challenge, Kira couldn't shake a feeling of dread. The Sentinel's tests were growing more difficult, and the galaxy was far from ready. Deep in the void, the Harbingers stirred. The seal was breaking, and the galaxy's greatest battle was yet to come. The cosmic threat. The galaxy braced itself for what came next. Project Starforge was underway, but the Sentinel had warned them. Time was short. Deep in the void, the Harbingers stirred, their prison weakening with every passing hour. The Galactic Council's uneasy alliance held, but cracks were beginning to show. Old rivalries flared as resources were funneled into Starforge, leaving key systems vulnerable. Kira knew the Sentinel was watching, and any failure of unity could doom them all. A warning from the void. In the outer reaches of the galaxy, a scout ship detected something horrifying. The prison, a vast and swirling anomaly of energy, was unraveling. From within, dark shapes began to emerge, massive, serpentine entities cloaked in shadow. They were Harbingers, their forms shifting between organic and mechanical, each one pulsating with an alien energy that distorted reality around them. The scout ship tried to retreat, but its transmission was cut short by a sudden surge of energy. Before the feed went dark, one message got through. They're here. The Sentinel's revelation. The Sentinel summoned the Galactic Council to deliver grim news. The Harbingers are breaching the seal. Humanity's fleet was able to hold them once, but your combined strength will not suffice. Project Starforge must be completed, or this galaxy will fall. But why now? Kira demanded. Why are they awakening after all this time? The Sentinel hesitated. The seal was not perfect. It was meant to last until unity was achieved across the galaxy. But sabotage weakened it, and the Harbinger's influence has been growing ever since. They thrive on division, on chaos. Your discord has fed them. The Council fell silent. Their divisions had been more than political. They had been fuel for the enemy. The Harbingers advance. The Harbingers began their assault on the galaxy. They didn't move like an invading army. They spread like a contagion. Entire systems went dark as the entities absorbed energy from suns, obliterated planets, and transformed surviving ships into grotesque extensions of their will. The Council's fleets, united under the Sentinel's guidance, engaged the Harbingers in desperate battles. But victory came at a cost. Every Harbinger destroyed released waves of chaotic energy that destabilized nearby systems, forcing the fleets to constantly retreat. A race against time. Project Starforge was nearing completion. Engineers worked around the clock in a hidden system, constructing the massive weapon based on humanity's ancient designs. The weapon's core would channel energy from multiple suns, creating a beam powerful enough to obliterate the Harbinger's prison and their essence permanently. But the project faced sabotage from within. A faction within the Council believed Starforge was too dangerous. They feared it would destabilize the galaxy further, or worse, that the Sentinel itself would use it to seize control. Kira uncovered the plot just in time. She confronted the faction leader, a seasoned admiral named Soren, in the Council chamber. "You're playing right into the Harbinger's hands," Kira shouted. "They thrive on division, and you're giving it to them." Soren's face was grim. And what if the Sentinel turns on us? What if Starforge isn't the solution, but the beginning of another tyranny? Kira stared at him, her voice softening. If we fail now, there won't be a galaxy left to argue over. Trust is our only chance. Reluctantly, Soren stood down, and the sabotage was halted. The final warning. As the Harbingers closed in on the Starforge construction site, the Sentinel made a shocking announcement. The seal is now beyond repair. The Harbingers' full force will arrive within hours. You must activate Starforge immediately, or all is lost. But there was a catch. Starforge's energy core was unstable. Activating it without the final calibrations would likely destroy the weapon, and the system it was in. The council was split. Some argued to wait, risking the Harbinger's arrival. Others insisted they had no choice but to activate the weapon prematurely. The Sentinel remained silent, leaving the decision to the council. Kira, torn between the two sides, finally spoke. We can't wait. If we lose the Starforge now, there won't be a second chance, but we need to ensure the lives sacrificed here mean something. The council reluctantly agreed. They would fight to protect the Starforge until it could fire. The battle for Starforge. The final battle began as the Harbingers arrived at the edge of the system. The Sentinel's fleet and the Council's ships formed a defensive line around the weapon, their unity tested to its limits. The Harbingers attacked in waves, each assault more devastating than the last. Their presence distorted space and time, causing Allied ships to malfunction or vanish entirely. Yet the defenders held, rallying around the hope that Starforge would succeed. Kira joined the front lines aboard the Sentinel's flagship. She watched in awe as the Sentinel coordinated the battle with machine-like precision, sacrificing its own ships to protect critical points. But as the final wave of Harbingers closed in, Starforge's systems began to overload. The Sentinel's voice cut through the chaos. You have one chance. Fire now or be consumed. A desperate choice. The Council gave the order. Starforge fired, its beam of energy piercing through the void and striking the heart of the Harbinger's prison. The entire galaxy seemed to tremble as the beam unleashed a chain reaction, collapsing the prison and vaporizing the Harbingers in a blinding flash of light. But the energy backlash was catastrophic. The system housing Starforge was obliterated, leaving only a glowing remnant of its sun. Ships near the weapon were destroyed, their crews lost. The Sentinel's fleet was gone, its mission complete. The galaxy was saved, but at an unimaginable cost. Aftermath. As the survivors regrouped, Kira stood before the council. The Sentinel was right about one thing. We're only here because we work together. Unity isn't just a weapon, it's our only hope for the future. The galaxy mourned its losses but emerged stronger. Project Starforge became a symbol of sacrifice and resilience, a reminder of what could be achieved when divisions were set aside. Yet, in the quiet aftermath, Kira couldn't shake the feeling that the Harbinger's defeat was only the beginning. Deep in the void, something stirred, something that had watched, waited, and learned. The final stand. The galaxy was quiet, but it was not at peace. The destruction of the Harbinger's prison and the activation of Project Starforge had left scars across star systems. Survivors celebrated their victory, yet whispers of unease lingered. The Sentinel's warnings echoed in the minds of every leader. The Harbingers were only the beginning. Prepare for what comes next. Ambassador Kira stood at the window of a Galactic Council vessel, staring at the remnants of the Starforge system. A glowing nebula of energy and debris. It was both a victory and a graveyard. But deep in her heart, she knew the fight wasn't over. A new threat emerges. Months passed, and strange reports began to trickle in from the edges of the galaxy. Entire systems went dark. Their populations vanished without a trace. Unlike the Harbingers, which consumed everything in their path, this new force left no wreckage, only silence. Kira, now a key figure in the newly united Galactic Alliance, reviewed the reports with growing dread. The anomalies had patterns, subtle but unmistakable. They were probing, testing, as if searching for something. Then the first transmission came. A deep, distorted voice resonated across every galactic communication channel. The Harbingers were our vanguard. You destroyed them, but you have only delayed the inevitable. We are the Continuum, the architects of your universe, and you are unworthy of its existence. The message ended abruptly, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. The Sentinels return. To everyone's surprise, the Sentinel returned. Its projection appeared in the Galactic Council chamber, flickering with damage from the final battle. I warned you, it began, its voice heavy with regret. The Harbingers were tools of the Continuum. Their destruction was necessary, but it has drawn their full attention. They are coming, and this galaxy is unprepared. The Council demanded answers. Who were the Continuum? What did they want? The Sentinel explained. The Continuum are the architects of existence. They created the frameworks for life, energy, and matter, but they grew disillusioned with their creation. They see sentient life as flawed and weak, undeserving of their gifts. The Harbingers were their first test. You passed, but now they will come to judge you directly. A galaxy prepares. The Sentinel offered the galaxy one last hope. Buried within its archives was a final plan, an ancient contingency known as the Ascension Protocol. This protocol would allow the galaxy's united forces to construct a superstructure capable of matching the Continuum's power. But the cost was unimaginable. The protocol required the collective energy of thousands of stars, and activating it would extinguish countless systems. It was a choice between survival and irreversible sacrifice. The Council debated furiously. Could they justify destroying entire systems to save the galaxy? Was the price of survival too high? Kira stood before them once again, her voice calm but resolute. We've faced impossible choices before. We've learned that unity is our greatest strength. If we hesitate now, the Continuum will destroy everything. But if we stand together, we can forge a future worthy of their challenge. The final battle. As the Ascension Protocol was constructed, the Continuum made their presence known. Their arrival was marked by an event no one could have prepared for. Entire star clusters began to vanish, replaced by vast, black voids. From these voids emerged Continuum constructs, massive, incomprehensible shapes that defied the laws of physics. The Galactic Alliance's fleets, now bolstered by remnants of the Sentinel's own ships, engaged the Continuum forces. The battle was unlike any before it. The constructs didn't fire weapons. They reshaped reality itself, twisting ships into fragments of time and space. Yet the Alliance fought back. Using the Sentinel's guidance, they adapted, learning to disrupt the Continuum's constructs with coordinated energy pulses. For every ship lost, they took another step closer to activating the Ascension Protocol. The Ascension Protocol fires. The final moments of the battle were chaos. The Continuum's main construct, a titanic entity spanning light years, approached the heart of the galaxy where the Ascension Protocol was housed. Kira, now aboard the Sentinel's lead ship, coordinated the final stand. We have to buy the protocol more time, she ordered, her voice cutting through the cacophony of battle. The fleets fought desperately, holding the Continuum at bay long enough for the protocol to reach full power. Finally, the superstructure activated. A blinding wave of energy erupted from the galactic core, engulfing the Continuum forces and the surrounding systems. The energy wasn't just destructive, it was transformative. It rewrote the fabric of space, forcing the Continuum into retreat. As the wave dissipated, the galaxy was left battered but intact. The cost of victory. The Ascension Protocol had worked, but at a terrible price. Thousands of stars were gone, their light extinguished to power the final weapon. The galaxy's borders had shifted, and countless civilizations had been displaced. Yet, for the first time, the galaxy stood together as one. The Sentinel, now fading from existence, delivered its final words. Humanity left this legacy for a reason. Not to dominate, but to inspire. You have proven that unity is possible, even in the face of annihilation. The Continuum will watch, but they will not return. Not if you remain worthy. With that, the Sentinel disappeared, leaving the galaxy to rebuild. A new dawn. Kira stood on the bridge of her ship, looking out at the stars. The galaxy was forever changed, but it had survived. The Continuum's judgment had been met not with submission, but with strength and unity. As the stars began to shine once more, Kira felt a spark of hope. The galaxy was no longer a collection of fractured systems. It was a single force, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And deep in the void, the Continuum watched, silent, but no longer indifferent.